Hello there everybody, this is David Montgomery, and I'd like to welcome you to the first video in my Paladins tutorial series. For those of you who don't already know, Paladins is a hero-based team shooter with MOBA elements, wherein your objective is to capture a point and then push a cart to the enemy base. Each game is played by two teams of 5 players, and each player plays as a champion, chosen from a pool of 26 characters with varying stats, skills, and roles on the battlefield. These champions are divided into 4 broad groups, depending on their roles in the battlefield. Frontliners, large characters with defensive shields, strong skills, and high health pools, whose job it is to stand on point and push objectives. Supports, backline units who assist the team with damage, crowd control, and healing to keep the team alive. They are highly varied, and can be distributed into the other 3 classes if not for their healing. Damage. These units have high damage output with their primary fire, and are barely hindered when their abilities are on cooldown. Their job is to kill the enemy front line from their own backline. And finally, flanks. Highly mobile units with high damage that, with very few exceptions, are squishy with few options for self-sustain and rely on ambushing key enemies to be effective. They are highly reliant on their skills and will go down without much of a fight when they can't use them. Every champion is defined by their skills, and these skills are modified by your selected loadout. A set of 5 cards that each modify a specific skill. The cards in a loadout can be upgraded up to level 4, with each level increasing the card's cost, with a maximum cost of 12 for the entire loadout. You may not have less than 5 cards, or have a cost of less than 12. The biggest aspect of your loadout is your legendary card. You need to be careful with these, because, for one, they are prohibitively expensive, and 2, for most champions, one typically outclasses the other 2 by such a large margin that you wonder why high-res studios even bothered making 3 legendaries for each champion if they can't even balance 2. Let's move to the battlefield. Around the edges of your screen, you will see your heads-up display, or HUD for short. It gives you all the information you need for battle. In the bottom left, there is a portrait of your character and your health bar. And in the bottom middle, you have your skills bar. This shows you which skills can be used, which ones aren't on cooldown, and how much ultimate charge you have. In the bottom right, you can see the items you have bought, what level they are at, and the loadout you are using. At the top middle of the screen, you can see each team's progress towards capturing the point and their progress towards winning the game. After the point is captured, the 2 bars will turn into one that marks the payload progress to the defending base. At the top of the screen, at the left and right, you can see who is alive on both teams, your team's respawn timers, teammate ultimate charges, and your team's health. But this last feature needs to be enabled in the options menu under the gameplay tab. It is labeled Show Team UI, and I would highly suggest that you enable it. But just a forewarning, at times your HUD will vanish completely. This is a bug, and you can purchase items mid-battle to improve your champion and adapt to the enemy team's playstyle and team composition. These 12 items are divided into 4 categories. Offense, which contains cards that reduce the time it takes to kill enemies under specific but not uncommon conditions. Defense, cards that make you live longer and less susceptible to adverse effects. Healing, cards that grant you greater sustain. And utility, cards that reduce the time it takes to do things, such as charge your ultimate. It is important to know which cards are best for your champion and for the situation, because you can only buy 1 item from each category. These items can be bought and upgraded up to level 3 with credits, which are earned throughout the match by inflicting damage, taking damage, eliminating enemies, shielding allies, healing allies, standing on the objective, and passively earned over. In a match, the team that scores 4 points first wins. Points are earned at the end of each stage, with 2 stages in each round. The first stage is played like King of the Hill, with both teams trying to capture a central objective by having possession of it for a certain period of time. The team that captures it gains a point. The second stage is Payload, with the team who captured the point on offense trying to push the payload to the enemy base. If the team on offense manages to push the payload to the enemy base within the time limit, or before overtime runs out, they get another point. If they fail, the defending team gets a point. The game continues on like this until a team has 3 points, where they can no longer gain any points by stalling the payload. They have to either capture the point, or push the payload to the enemy base to win. After the match, you get experience in gold based on your performance. The experience has no effect on gameplay, but gold can be used to buy new characters and chests containing cards that can be used in your loadouts. In the end, Paladins is a fun and complex game that requires skill and game knowledge to win, and I hope you decide to try it sometime. Have fun, and I hope to catch you in the realm.